Hello and welcome to the training. I'm Joey Fehrman. I wanted to come introduce myself. Nice to meet you. You're going to want to take a lot of notes during this training, so be sure you have a paper and pencil ready to go. We'll get started here shortly, so get excited. Welcome to Entrepreneurship for Tech Employees. I have a very important question before we get started. Who here wants to become your own boss, set your own schedule, work from anywhere in the world, make a lot of money, love what you do, and most importantly, make a difference? If that's you, make some noise. So here's what we're going to cover during the training today. Tips for picking a great business idea, 8 essentials your business plan must have, common mistakes and how to avoid them, rewiring your brain for success, which is probably the number one thing tech employees need, how to start your own profitable business within 8 weeks from right now, the importance of a mentor, and a surprise gift at the end. Now, who is this for? This is for tech employees, of course. So maybe you're a software engineer, maybe you work in IT, maybe you work at a tech company, maybe you work in a tech department. So that's number one. Number two is you want to replace your salary within the next 12 months by starting a side hustle, so you don't have to quit your job and you can keep your paycheck, keep the risk low. So you can quit your job and be your own boss. And you'd love to have your dream business idea figured out, your business plan written, your business launched, and you've made your first sale all within the next 8 weeks. So if that sounds like you, then you are in the right place. Now, why do you want to start your own business? Everyone's a little different. Maybe you're feeling a lack of freedom. Maybe your current job is just unfulfilling. Maybe you're worried about what happens if you get laid off unexpectedly. Maybe you're frustrated that less intelligent internet entrepreneurs are making millions of dollars when you're stuck where you are and you're like, I know I'm smarter than those people. I know I felt like that before. Maybe you've just been kind of stuck in life for several months or maybe even years. Perhaps you're tired of having to ask for permission to take time off. Maybe you're feeling bored or just unchallenged at work. Or maybe you just know that you aren't living up to your full potential and you're meant for something more. Whatever the reason, I've felt many of those myself. I'm Joey. Nice to meet you all. A little bit about myself. I'm the founder of Coachieve, which is my company here. Former Microsoft employee and computer science major at University of Pennsylvania. So I definitely have some tech in me. I'm also an author and a keynote speaker. I'm a corporate escapee. I was the 6-figure corporate person, and I'm a 6-figure entrepreneur, and I've made that transition already. And I'm also a business strategist, so I can help other employees kind of figure out their plan to do the exact same thing. I've worked with and spoken to hundreds of aspiring entrepreneurs across dozens of industries over several years. These are some organizations I've been involved with either as a speaker, a coach, a judge, or won a competition, or whatever it is. So definitely lots of great experiences that I can bring to the table today. I also like quotes, so you'll be hearing some of those throughout the presentation. Les Brown says, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll be among the stars. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And the question isn't who is going to let me, it's who is going to stop me." That's right. Don't let anybody get in your way. All right, let's talk about the business idea. Different qualities of a good business idea. There's actually 2 things you want to keep in mind. First is the personal considerations, right? So is this business idea in line with your passion? If you actually become successful in this business, are you going to be fulfilled? A lot of people don't think about that. They just think like, will this idea make me money? You don't want to end up making $1 million and then being a miserable millionaire, being like, oh, I'm not happy, right? Let's plan ahead of time and say, if you build this business and it's successful, will you be happy? Maybe you want more freedom in your life, right? Will the business model you choose give you the freedom you want? And ultimately the impact, because that's how you really get fulfillment and feel great, is when you're contributing to others. And so will this business allow you to do that in the way that you would love? Then of course you have the business considerations. So what is your income goal? Do you want to make 200 grand a year working 20 hours a week and call it good? Or are you trying to become a $100 million company, $1 billion company, whatever it is? You want to make sure that the business idea can hit those goals for you. Next, making sure there's market demand. You don't want to have to create demand. You want to make sure there's already demand out there, and you just have to put your product or service in front of it. Next is this is a personal preference, kind of the lean startup methodology. I mean, you could spend $500,000 to get your business off the ground. Not my personal cup of tea, though. I like to keep things kind of lean, and you're building the business as you're learning about your market, and you're not taking any like massive risk along the way. You're building it with your target market in mind as they give you feedback. Next is skill. You either have the skill to make sure your customers and clients have great results, or you're excited about getting the skill. Like if you don't have any skills right now, not a problem. You can be a successful entrepreneur, but you obviously need to get skills, and you should be excited about the skills you would need to make that business a success. And then lastly, for business considerations is the business model. I have 16 different business models that my clients can choose from. You just want to make sure that the business model is in alignment for kind of your personal goals, right? Now, there's several options when it comes to business ideas. I've generated hundreds of business ideas over the years. Obviously, I don't have time to go into all those, but here's a few ideas. One is, you monetize your existing skills and you become a consultant, right? If you're a tech employee or just a human, right, you've probably accomplished things and have skills that other people would pay you to learn so they could accomplish similar results. Number two, building an app or a piece of software that's very popular for tech employees. And, there's a lot of options in terms of building that app. I've stumbled across a way to actually get an MVP, meaning minimum viable product, built for no cost and no equity. It's kind of a secret strategy I share with my clients. But you don't have to go spend $250,000 to get an app built like one of my clients did. There are more creative options. And whether you know how to code or whether you don't, that could be a good option, because even if you know how to code, it may not be the best use of your time to code it when you should be acting more like a CEO and focusing on other things. So what other things might you need to be focusing on? You need more than good code to have a good piece of app or software that becomes successful. UI, UX, super important. Software engineers, they're good at coding, but they're not necessarily good at a bunch of other things. I know this because I've reviewed projects of over 100 different projects from software engineers, and the UI, UX, the design, how pretty it was, how friendly, like how much I wanted to come back and use it again. Lots of room for improvement there. Next is product market fit. If you don't get the product market fit right, you're going to have to pivot in a couple of years after you've spent a lot of money and a lot of time building something that nobody wanted. So you got to make sure you get that right. Monetization strategy. A lot of it seems like software people only know about like monthly recurring revenue and selling ads. Like there's a lot more ways to make money on the internet that people just aren't aware of. You want to make sure that you have the best monetization strategy so that you can, make more money and help more people. Next, pitching investors. This is definitely a skill set. I used to work on Wall Street, where I spent the bulk of my career. Investors speak a different language. You need to know how to speak to them so they actually want to write the check. Writing a realistic business plan. Anyone can go to Google and type in business plan template. It doesn't mean that it's going to be good, right? Garbage in, garbage out. If you fill out the business plan template with a bunch of stupid stuff, you're going to have a stupid business plan. And so you need to make sure you have a realistic business plan, like a great business plan. And a launch plan, right? You only get a launch one time. And so you want to make sure that you've got a plan to get a bunch of buzz and hit the ground running. Most people haven't really thought about that. There's a strategy to it. You want to make sure that you have yours figured out. Okay. Or maybe you don't want the app or software. Maybe you want to start with a business model that you would like e-commerce, information products, buying a business. There's all kinds of different things you can start with, and then you can build the business around the model that you like. You can become a coach, right? A lot of people are becoming a coach right now. It's a very lucrative industry. It's growing at rapid rates. I think it's one of the best business models out there if your goal is just to replace your income and not take a lot of risk. What kind of coach could you become? Any kind of coach, really. Name something and you could probably do that. But the most popular ones are like business coach, help people with their finances, a life coach, a health coach, help people with their relationships, but really anything you want. It's a wonderful option. Next, kind of follow your passion. Following your passion is very important. Not everyone says why. Entrepreneurship is a tough road. And so if you're only starting a business because you want to make more money, then when you're not making money at first, you're going to get really discouraged, and the most likely outcome is that you're just going to quit, which makes sense, right? If you're only doing it for the money and you're not making money right away, then why would you keep going? By following a passion or having a mission-based company or something that actually means something to you, that'll get you through the tough times so you actually can, make a lot of profit down the road. Last choice is you basically hire someone and they come up with ideas for you, right? A lot of my clients do that. They're like, Joey, I really want to start a business. I don't know what business to start. So I go through my hour and a half long proprietary process with them. I ask them a lot of questions. So I get to kind of know their goals and their circumstance. And then I hand them 5 to 10 business ideas on a silver platter. So now it's not like you're staring at a blank page. You just have to use process of elimination to pick your favorite. And so I've helped over 100 clients really get clarity on the kind of business they want to start and the business plan, all those kinds of things. I'll just give a couple examples. Elvis, he was a cybersecurity employee, but now he has his own business, equipping corporate boardrooms to protect themselves against cyber attacks because he has a passion for, helping protect America's national security. So this is an example of he already had a skill set, but he can make more money doing it on his own than having his boss make the money. Next, Buddha, he's a software engineer, but now he helps social entrepreneurs grow their business and profits so they can have more impact. Now, he didn't have those skills, but I was able to give those skills to him so that he could really follow his passion. Michael, computer scientist from Stanford, he had dozens of business ideas. Maybe you're like me and you just have too many ideas to choose from. Well, I helped him filter them down to the best one, write the business plan, and get it launched within a few months. All right, Ty, an engineer from Seattle, he had a passion for personal finance, but he lacked personal finance knowledge, right? So that's a problem. He also lacked marketing and sales skills, which is pretty common. But despite all those, he was able to get his first paying coaching client within a few weeks, which was great, with my help, of course. All right, so Molly, an engineer from Birmingham, she wanted to build an app for millennials, and she also wanted more fulfillment because she didn't really like her job that much. So I helped her create the pitch deck, her wireframe, her business plan, and get 3 users before the app even existed, all within a couple months. And then Austin, he worked for a large Silicon Valley startup, and I helped. He had a passion for health, right? To be healthy and work out in the gym and things like that. So I helped him find an online business that he could buy because sometimes that's the best option for people, depending on the circumstance. Falling down doesn't make you a failure. Staying down does. Like if you're worried about failing in entrepreneurship, don't worry about it because you're going to fail a lot, right? You're going to fail a little bit every day, but they're not like huge failures. It's just like you just have to get back up. And as long as you do that, you'll eventually become successful. Jeff Bezos quote here, I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying. Failure is temporary. Regret is forever. Imagine you're, 70, 80 years old, thinking back, man, I really wish I would have started that business. Too late then, it's kind of like, well, should have done it earlier. Now the business plan. All right. So once you have a business idea, time to write the business plan. And there's really 8 essential elements that every business plan needs. First is a narrow target market. Sometimes I've spoken to hundreds, probably nearly 1,000 aspiring entrepreneurs. And, if I ask something like, oh, who do you think needs your product or service? They want to say, oh, everybody needs it. And I know then and there that they're going to have a real tough time. Because first of all, not everyone needs it. And second, that even if they did, that's not the way that you can approach the world. And you might say, but Joey, I want I want to be the next Amazon or Facebook. Okay, well, how did Amazon and Facebook get started? They started with a narrow target market. Facebook started at Harvard College, and Amazon really got their traction. I think most people know they got their start selling books, but it wasn't just selling books, it was selling books to rural America, right? Because think back then, like there was no Barnes and Noble or Borders in rural America. And now at Amazon.com, they could get basically any book in the world delivered right to their doorstep. That was pretty revolutionary at the time. Next, you need an exciting value proposition. Okay, so you've got competition, people have a short attention span. You need to be able to articulate in like 1 or 2 sentences why your prospects should be excited, what makes you different, and what kind of results they can expect. Okay, very important. Next, you need a marketing strategy. Now, marketing is probably the most important thing for any business, but it's definitely the most important thing for any new business, because you could have the best product or service in the world, but if no one knows you exist, you will make no money. Pretty simple, right? And there's basically 2 main categories of marketing. There's paid marketing, kind of like advertising, and then there's free marketing strategies. I have, a dozen strategies for both. I recommend usually, unless you have hundreds of thousands of investor dollars behind you, you usually want to start with free marketing strategies to kind of reduce the risk and kind of prove that product market fit. And then once you do that, once you get a few clients or customers under your belt and really know what you're doing, then maybe look at paid ads. Next, sales strategy, right? Tech employees aren't really known for their sales skills, generally speaking, but you still need a sales strategy, right? Whether you're doing the sales, someone else is doing the sales, whether you're doing an online sales funnel, whatever it is, marketing's job is to generate traffic, is to generate prospects, leads, things like that. That's marketing's job. Sales job is to actually turn those leads and prospects into paying customers. So you need a strategy for that. Next is your product or service and how much you're going to charge, right? A lot of people don't know the basic information. If I'm like, oh, what did you want to charge for your product or service? The most common answer I get when I'm talking to aspiring entrepreneurs is, oh, that's a good question. I'm not really sure. That's a problem, right? So you need to make sure that you know that. Next is financial projections. No matter what your financial goals are, you need to know the KPIs behind it. So let's say you want to make 200 grand a year of profit. All right, well, how many, like, what's your conversion rate? What's your cost to acquire the customer? What's your lifetime value per customer? So many metrics that you need to know in order to hit that financial goal. And then you can evaluate whether those metrics are realistic. Like if you're expecting a 75% click-through rate in order to hit your goals, that's not realistic. And so, oh, I need to come up with a different plan. Next, people and operations. Maybe you're a solo entrepreneur, which is fine. Maybe you want to have a team. That's fine too. But like, what are the roles for each person and what's your operation plan? Some businesses go out of business because they grow too quickly, right? They get too many sales and things fall through the cracks and customers complain and product breaks and all kinds of stuff, right? And so you want to make sure that you have an operations plan. And then of course, a scaling strategy. So if you do want to, to make $10 is a different strategy than to make $100,000, which is different to make a couple $1 million, which is different to make $100 million, right? Each of those things requires different strategies and different tools. And so you want to make sure you know kind of what your goals are and then the best way to scale to get there. Risk more than others think is safe. Dream more than others think is practical. Are you guys dreaming enough? Or do you just have practical dreams? Why don't you dream a little bigger? Show me a person who never made a mistake, and I will show you a person who never did anything. Founder of Dunkin' Donuts said that. Maybe that's you guys. Maybe you're worried about making a mistake, but you also haven't accomplished anything in entrepreneurship land. Okay? Making a mistake isn't the problem. Not achieving your goals is the problem. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off the goals, right? Are you guys thinking that? Are you looking at all the obstacles and all the reasons why something wouldn't work? Nope. Don't look at that. Look at what your goals and look at what your future will be. Much better. And speaking of that, let's talk about mindset. I'm sure a lot of tech employees might be thinking, oh, my mindset's fine. Okay, well, we're gonna talk about that a little bit. All right. See, I've spoken with nearly 1,000 aspiring entrepreneurs, and the number one reason that they never get started or never have the success they want isn't necessarily the business stuff. I mean, business is pretty simple at the end of the day. You find people with a problem and you sell them a solution. And that's kind of what business is, right? I didn't say it was easy. I just said it wasn't complicated, right? The number one reason they never get started or have the successful one is because of how they think. So I'm going to try to help you think better, since that's what I think is the number one thing you need in order to have success in the long term. And my intention is to help. I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers here. I might offend some people. That's not my intention. My intention is to help you think a little differently so you can actually have the success that you want in life and in business. So let's start with a question. First of all, is it possible that you are making a mistake with how you currently think about entrepreneurship? Is it possible? Is it possible that your current decision-making process around entrepreneurship is broken? Is it possible that your decision-making process is broken? Well, luckily, it's easy to find out, right? With this one simple question. Are you ready? Have you made at least $10,000 with your own business? If the answer is no, then clearly you're doing something wrong, right? Because $10,000 in business is like not very much, right? So if you have not yet made $10,000 with your own business, then clearly how you think about entrepreneurship and your decision-making process around entrepreneurship is broken, because otherwise you'd have the success, right? So if you don't have the success, something's wrong. So what could it be? Well, hopefully you'll find out in the next few minutes. You see, it's very easy for tech employees and kind of highly analytical, introverted kind of people to enter what I call the learn, 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 never do, doom loop. Yes, I made that up myself. I should probably trademark it. So what is this? Well, it's basically the idea of, well, I can't get started yet because I need to go learn something else. Well, I can't get started yet because I need to know marketing. And then you read 3 marketing books and it's like, well, I can't get started yet because I need to learn sales, or, oh, I can't get started yet because I need to learn how to pitch investors, or I need to, right? And it's always learning. Now, this is a cool kind of cool prison that people build for themselves. And it's a happy prison. It's a happy prison. Why is it a happy prison? Because, well, they get to do what they love, which is to learn, right? And they don't have to do the things they don't want to do, which is, fear of failure, someone telling them no, someone criticizing their idea, right? They never have to like fail. And they just get it. Basically, it's like running on a treadmill, but going nowhere, right? But they feel like they're making progress because they're always learning new things. It's a perfect little happy prison, but it's a prison because they don't ever make any money. They don't ever get the freedom and the fulfillment and all the benefits of having your own business, because they just are afraid to actually go make a mistake. And so they just stay in their happy little prison forever, never start anything, but they always feel like they're learning something new. So they're pretty happy, and it's a happy little prison. That's a huge mistake. You see, perfect doesn't exist. Oh my gosh. Some of you are perfectionists out there. I know you are, right? Perfect doesn't exist, right? There is no perfect plan. There's no perfect time to start a business. There's no perfect product. There's no perfect company, etc. And thank goodness you don't have to be perfect in order to make money, because otherwise we'd all be in trouble, wouldn't we? So maybe you're afraid of making a mistake. Well, what's Mark Zuckerberg say about this? He's a very, very, very analytical person. He says, if things aren't breaking, then you're not moving fast enough. People learn by making mistakes. Mistakes are the best teacher. Success is a horrible teacher, because did you actually know what you were doing, or did you get lucky? We don't know. But mistakes, you did something wrong, and then you can learn from it. You see, the mindset and habits that helped you have a successful career. I'm sure many of you have a successful career. You make good money. You work at a good company. You probably have some good coworkers, right? But something's missing, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this webinar. So the habits and mindset that helped you have a successful career are not going to serve you well with entrepreneurship. You might be wondering, well, Joey, what's the difference? I'm so glad you asked, right? Let's look at an employee mindset versus an entrepreneur mindset. So the first one is, I need a perfect plan. Failure is bad. I'll start my business someday soon, even better. They focus on mitigating risk. Debt is bad. I don't feel ready yet. What if it doesn't work? My life is okay, I guess. Right? That's employee mindset right there. Well, how do entrepreneurs think? I need a perfect plan. Perfect is the enemy of profit, right? If huge companies like Microsoft, Adobe, etc., can come out with imperfect products that have bugs and people don't really like, and they're still able to be successful, obviously being perfect isn't the secret to success. Taking action is the secret to success. Next, failure is bad. Actually, failure is temporary, and it comes with lessons, right? It's when you make mistakes when you learn the lessons, as Mark Zuckerberg said. I'll start my business someday. I already started it. Employees focus on mitigating risk. Entrepreneurs focus on maximizing reward. What good is having zero risk if you have zero reward? That doesn't make any sense. Debt is bad. Well, actually, leveraging the bank's money can get you faster results. I don't feel ready yet. Well, courage isn't the lack of fear, but acting in spite of it. That's a Mark Twain quote, right? What if it doesn't work? I will make it work no matter what. And my life is okay, I guess. I don't settle for anything less than extraordinary, right? So do you have an employee mindset or an entrepreneur mindset? You see, you have to change your identity. This is really what it comes down to have massive change in your life. Tony Robbins says, change your identity, change your life. The Atomic Habits book, super popular, talks about identity. PhDs talk about the importance of identity, right? You need to change your identity from, I want to be an entrepreneur someday, right? That aspiring entrepreneur identity, which you've probably had for, how long have you wanted to start your business for? How long? Because I've talked to hundreds of people, and it's usually a few years, maybe anywhere from a few months to, like, I think one time I heard 15 years. Let's just say on average 2 years. Okay. So you've been wanting to be an entrepreneur for how many months? How many years? Okay. It's not until you decide that, no, I'm an entrepreneur now, like, not until you change it in your bones, your identity, that you actually start to make real progress. You have to change your identity from someone who doesn't make mistakes to someone who is comfortable taking imperfect action. Oh my gosh, imperfect action? You mean action that isn't perfect? Yeah, that's what all entrepreneurs do. Then once you change your identity, you start acting like the person you want to become. I mean, look at this cool picture. Like, it's a cat, but he knows that he's a lion inside, right? Why don't you start thinking like that about yourself? So let me ask you a question. Are you committed to start taking the same actions as a successful entrepreneur? Why? Why are you committed to doing that? And why is super important, knowing your why. Read any entrepreneurship book, and they always talk about know your why, know your why, know your why. You see, comfort is the breeding ground for mediocrity. Many of you, I'm assuming, are comfortable. You make pretty good money, you have a pretty good life, you have pretty good coworkers, yeah, pretty comfortable. Well, no one did anything great feeling comfortable. You see, I can solve your business strategy problems, but I can't give you the motivation, and I can't give you the do whatever it takes to achieve my dreams attitude that you need for success. Business strategy problems are, easier than getting you to be excited about your future and actually being willing to do whatever it takes. Only you can give yourself that motivation and know why you're willing to do it. You see, most aspiring entrepreneurs are not 100% committed to their goals, which is why they never achieve them. So are you 100% committed? Why? Everyone wants to start a business. Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make more money. I want more freedom. I want to spend more time with my family. I want a six-pack. Everybody wants stuff. What do they do about it? Not much, right? Entrepreneurs, on the other hand, they don't want to be an entrepreneur. They have to be. There is no other choice. So why is this a must for you rather than just a want? And if you need help, maybe I can give you some questions to think about. How is your life worse off right now because you don't have your own business? Think about your life. Why is it worse off because you don't have your own business? What have you missed out on over the past 6 months, 2 years, 10 years that you've had your own company? What have you missed out on? And what are you going to continue to miss out on if another 6 months, 2 years, 10 years goes by without your own business? What are the potential negative consequences for your future if you don't change your current situation for months or years to come? Now, I've asked that question a lot of times, and I can tell who's going to be successful or not. A bad answer to this question would be like, well, I'll just keep trying. What happens if your situation doesn't change for another several months or several years? Oh, well, I'll just keep trying. I'll just figure it out. That's a dumb answer, because my next question is like, okay, cool. How are you going to do that? Oh, well, I don't know. Okay. So have you been trying to figure it out on your own over the past few months or few years, or however long you've been trying to become an entrepreneur for? Okay, so you've been trying, it's not working. So you're going to stick with the same strategy that hasn't been working for months or years in the past, the keep trying with no plan approach. And that's going to prevent you from being stuck in the same place 6 months from now. Like, it doesn't even make any logical sense. So you really need to think about what's the real answer. Like, how would your life be worse off if in 6 months from now you're in the exact same place? You have to have a real answer to that, because that's what's going to give you the motivation to change. Why do you need this now rather than later? Another crappy answer. So yeah, why now? Why not just keep putting it off? Another crappy answer would be like, well, why not now? What a stupid answer. I don't know. You tell me. You wanted to start a business 6 months ago, because 6 months ago, now was 6 months ago. That now was back then. You didn't do it then. Why now? Why not now? I don't know. You haven't. Did you take action yesterday? No, because now yesterday was yesterday. So why now? You got to have a real answer. Why is this an urgent top priority for you? Because that's the other thing. Most people, it's not a top priority. You know, billion-dollar entrepreneurs, guess what? Their business is their top priority. I wonder why they're more successful. Now, I'm not saying it has to be your number one top priority, but like, why is it a top priority? Why is it one of your top priorities? So you have to overcome your obstacles, right? You're going to have lots of obstacles in life and in business. Okay. Luckily, if you're listening to this webinar, you're still alive. So congratulations on overcoming obstacles already. Okay. Good job. But there's going to be even more coming, especially if you start your own company. So one, you got to know your budget. What is your business, or what is your budget to start a business? You know, a lot of people don't know. You think that's a problem? Could you imagine a CEO being on a conference call with the Goldman Sachs analyst saying like, hey, Mr. CEO, like, I see you really want to grow your business this year. What's your budget to kind of get that done? Oh, I don't know, Mr. Analyst. That's a great question. I haven't really thought about that. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. That would never happen, right? But you're the CEO of your own business. So start acting like it. I suggest, 5 to 10,000 is a good budget to get a business off the ground, which is super cheap, by the way. 30 years ago, you need like 200 grand to get a business off the ground. So like, hey, we live in good times, right? So for a lot of you, that's not a lot of money, but for some of you, you may not have that. So you have to go find it, right? Be resourceful. It's not the lack of resources that's the problem. There's trillions of dollars on this planet. It's your lack of resourcefulness that's the problem. There was this TikTok video of some guy who made $8,000 in 1 month driving Uber Eats. $8,000 in 1 month, right? So if you're dedicated, you can find the money. Don't let that be an excuse that keeps you from moving forward on your dream. Create the time. Oh, Joey, I'm busy. I don't have the time. Now's not a good time. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Well, let me ask you a question. Who's someone you really admire? Like some entrepreneur that you really admire? Maybe Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey or whoever it is. Let me ask you a question. How much time do they have? And the answer is 24 hours in a day, just like you. We all have the same amount of time, 24 hours in a day, and yet they're so much more successful than you and me, right? So what are they doing different with their time? The lack of time is not your problem. How you manage your time is the problem. I have a whole 2.5-hour class on like how to create more free time. The lack of time isn't your problem. It's something else that you need to identify. Talk to your spouse. A lot of people, they blame their spouse. Oh no, I can't move forward. I can't start my business yet. I have to go talk to somebody. I have to go talk to my husband, my wife, my therapist, my business partner, my whoever. Okay. You need to take responsibility for your own success. Stop putting it on other people. Like, you need to take responsibility. You're the CEO of your company and your life. So stop dictating decisions to other people it's not their business and it's not their life. You take responsibility for your success. Stop putting it off on other people. There you go. Take responsibility for your success. Stop thinking about it and start actually achieving it. Whatever your goals have been, how long have you been thinking about it for? Give me a break. Like some of these people that I've talked to, they've been thinking about starting a business for 10 years. I mean, stop thinking about it and actually start going to achieve it. You can have results or excuses, not both. Arnold Schwarzenegger says that. A lot of you are choosing excuses over results. Here's the 10 million reasons why I can't start a business right now. Cool. You picked excuses rather than results. Hard work without talent is a shame, but talent without hard work is a tragedy. You guys are tech employees. Like, you got some talent, got some brains, you got some good stuff going on. Are you coupling it with hard work? If not, it's a tragedy. You're the hero of your own story, so start acting like it. That's my quote. Are you acting like a hero? It's your life. If somebody made a movie about your life, would people go see it? Would you be proud of it? All right, the importance of a mentor. Now, a lot of smart people here listening to this webinar. You might be able to figure it out on your own, the entrepreneurship thing, but why would you want to? Right? Do you really want to spend countless hours on Google and YouTube learning from experts, which, by the way, most of them are not actually experts. They're just repeating what they've heard somebody else say, and then they say the same thing, and now they sound smart when they're really not. But the problem is, how do you know the difference? That's the problem. You don't know who's full of it and who actually knows. You see, time is money, right? Time is money. Another thing with a mentor is that, there's three buckets, right? You know what you know. So like, technology or whatever it is. You know what you don't know, like, oh, I know I don't know sales or whatever. But the reason you will fail is because of the things you don't know that you don't know. Okay, if you're trying to reduce risk and there's a threat out there that you don't even know exists and it just knocks you out of nowhere because you didn't even know it was there in the first place, that's a problem. See, a mentor helps you avoid mistakes, speed up the learning curve, and get you faster results. Now, some of you have never hired a business coach before, and you may not know the landscape out there, right? There's all kinds of business coaches. But kind of the typical thing, it's basically you hire somebody for 10 grand. It's about 8 weeks. They focus on achieving a specific result. I've signed up for several of these types of programs. Okay. And some of you hear 10,000, some of you think like, yeah, that's really cheap for getting that kind of advice. Other of you may be like, oh, that seems pretty expensive. Okay. So my question is, expensive compared to what? Expensive compared to college? Expensive compared to an MBA? I mean, any decent MBA is going to be at least 100 grand. Okay. Expensive compared to a used car? Would you rather have a used car that's going to break down in a few years, or an education that can make you money for the rest of your life? You see, what's expensive is opportunity cost. That's what's expensive. Let's say you want to start a business for 2 years and you want to make 100 grand a year with your own business. Let's just say that. Okay. So you want to start a business 2 years ago. You haven't really done much for 2 years. So now your bank account is less by potentially $200,000 because you really didn't do much. That's expensive, right? And let's fast forward that into the future. Let's say you started a business and you were able to make the 100 grand a year, whatever your goal is, over the next 10 years. That's a lot of money that you're missing out on. You see, because employees, they think in terms of costs, right? Oh, that's $10,000. That's a lot. That's a big expense, right? Entrepreneurs think in terms of investments and results-based thinking. Okay, so let's say the next 20 years of your life, you invest $10,000 and you learn how to make $100,000 a year over 20 years is $2 million. So invest $10,000 to learn how to make potentially 2 million if you actually follow through on what the program's telling you. Seems like a pretty good steal to me. So you got to think how successful people think. Some people on this webinar, they stay stuck because they're focused on things like, well, what if it doesn't work? Or, well, what could go wrong? Or they focus on all the reasons why they shouldn't do something. Okay. You see, pessimists make horrible entrepreneurs. So everything is half of the glass is half empty, right? Could you imagine if Elon Musk thought that way when he was thinking about starting SpaceX? Imagine Elon Musk thinking like, I think I want to start a rocket company and kind of change the world. I wonder what could go wrong. I wonder what could go wrong if I start a rocket company, but I have no experience and know nothing about rockets. Like if that was his line of thinking, he never would have started it, obviously, because a million things could go wrong. But that's not how successful people think. They're not focused on what can go wrong. They're focused on what could go right. They're focused on the result. So instead of, this is what you want to focus on. Focus on why this could be the answer that you've been waiting for, or how great will my life be when I finally achieve my goal? Like, basically be an optimist. Be an optimist, because it's going to make you happier in life and more successful in life. And I promise your bank account will thank you. But there's that limiting belief deep down inside, right? I think that's what, there's all the fear and excuses and all the I think it boils down to this one thing. Can I really do it? Is that what you're thinking? Deep down inside in your subconscious, in your gut? Can I really do it? Can I really replace my income? Can I really be my own boss? Can I really make over $100,000 a year doing what I love? Can I really do it? Here's my advice. Have confidence. Have confidence in your ability to succeed and solve problems. If you're a tech employee, you're probably pretty good at solving problems. And luckily, entrepreneurship is just all about solving one problem after another. So yes, you can really do it, but you have to believe it. Start believing in yourself right now. Oh, but I'm afraid and I have doubts, right? You want to believe in yourself, but I just have this fear and I have these doubts. Some of you are thinking that. Some of you are like, people actually think like that. And you've already started your business, right? But for those of you that are afraid and do have some doubts, all aspiring entrepreneurs have fear and doubts. It's fine. It's normal. But here's the question. Do you want to overcome them, those fears and doubts? Do you want to overcome them now, or do you want to keep staying stuck? Like, you're going to have to overcome them someday. If you think like 2 years from now, you're not going to have any fear and doubts starting your own business, you're kidding yourself. You can wait 10 years and you're still going to have fear and doubts. So like, why don't we just get over them now? Now, if you think about working with me, you may be wondering, well, okay, Joey, how are you different? One, I do customized plans. Most of the other programs out there that you see in Facebook ads and these things like that, they're kind of a one size fits all thing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying I'm different, right? I do customized plans for that. So like, basically other people tell you, well, you have to run Facebook ads if you want to grow your business, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. I've got strategies, all kinds of strategies, right? I tailor them to you. Also, sales process that are tailored to your personality. Some programs out there teach you a sales process. It's like very aggressive used car salesman kind of thing. And that works fine for some people, but not if you're introverted. Like, that's never going to work for you. And so it has to be really tailored to your personality. I come up with business ideas for you. Some of you don't have any idea what kind of business you want to start. So none of those coaches would work for you, because you already need to know what kind of business you want to start. They help you grow that specific kind of business. But if you're like, I don't know what kind of business to start, then I'm kind of the only game in town as far as I know. As far as I know, I'm the only one who will generate business ideas out of thin air, customized to you. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who does that. If not, let me know if that's not true. I give you 16 different business models to choose from. You don't have to know which business model you want to do right out of the gate. You work one-on-one with me, not a sub coach. A lot of these, I have a 10 million, these coaches that have $10 million coaching businesses, you hardly ever talk to them, right? You're not working one-on-one with them, right? You're talking to their employees. I also have a guarantee. What a crazy thing, right? I have a work with you until you get the result guarantee. So everyone's different, right? But let's just say that, I'm saying, okay, in 8 weeks, you're going to have your dream business idea figured out. You're going to have your business plan written, and you're going to have your first customer within 8 weeks. Okay. So if that's what I'm saying I can do for you, and for whatever reason it doesn't work, well, I'm going to keep working with you for free until you get that result. Okay. I work with you until you get the result guarantee. So as long as you're committed to your dream, I'm committed to you. The other thing is, I've already done it, right? A lot of the coaches out there, I mean, no offense, but like, they've never had a 9-to-5 successful corporate career. They don't know what it's like to make that transition. I've already done the transition. So getting a mentor, you may be wondering, well, Joey, what's the cost to work with you? And I'm flexible, right? Anywhere from $1,000 to $100,000 tailored to what you need, right? Maybe you just need like a comprehensive education. I've got 30 hours of amazing training. I think it's better than an MBA, get you pointed in the right direction. Or maybe you want me to basically build your whole business for you, right? And I do pretty much all the work, right? Really just kind of depends on your budget and what you want. I mean, my most popular coaching package is around $5,000. And by the way, if you listen to the marketing gurus out there, they say, never tell your price on a webinar. But what can I say? I guess I'm a rebel. So you may be wondering, is investing in mentorship to learn from someone who's already done it, achieve your goals faster, and gain lifelong skills, is that a good investment? Well, let's ask Warren Buffett, basically the best investor ever. He says the best investment you can make is in yourself. The more you learn, the more you'll earn. He didn't say the best investment is in the S&P 500, Coca-Cola stock, crypto, whatever. No, the best investment you can make is in yourself. And if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, do what successful entrepreneurs do. I was talking with a colleague and, he has $1 million business. And he was like, Joey, how much do you think I invested in my own kind of like personal growth last year and like coaches and masterminds and programs and things like that? I was like, I have no idea. He's like, over $100,000 just in like mastermind groups and coaches and things like that. Okay. But he's just a millionaire. So what does he know, right? What do like billionaires do? Well, let's take a look here. Steve Jobs had a coach, had a business coach. There was a whole book written about it. Elon Musk has hired a coach. Eric Schmidt, chairman of Google, he was asked by Fortune, what's the best advice you ever got? What a vague question. He could have answered a million different things. What's the best advice you ever got? Out of all the things he could have said, he said to hire a coach. Bill Gates in his TED talk, first words out of his mouth, everyone needs a coach. Don't take my word for it. Do what billionaires do. See, you could spend years trying to figure this stuff out, figure out the stuff out on your own, but I can answer all your questions within a matter of weeks or sooner, right? You may be wondering, what kind of business should I start? What is my purpose and passion? What should my target market be? How can I make an exciting value proposition? What marketing strategy should I choose? How can I improve my sales skills quickly? What problem am I able to tackle with my current skill set? What should my product or service be? And how much should I charge for it? What business model should I choose? What are the most important things I should focus on if I have limited time? Where do I even begin? And like 100 more questions, right? So this could be great if you want 5 to 10 business ideas on a silver platter. If you want a customized step-by-step plan to make 6 figures over the next year so you can quit your job and have more freedom and fulfillment. Weekly accountability from me directly. Achieve success 10 times faster than doing it alone. All the benefits of a business partner, but I don't take any equity. And this is a tax write-off. Whenever you hire a coach, it's a tax write-off. In fact, having your own business, if you live in like a high tax state, having your own business is one of the best ways to save money on taxes. And if you want to learn from someone who's already escaped, I've already escaped the corporate rat race. So now you have a choice. And the choice, you might think whether or not I should hire Joey. No, that's not the choice. The choice is this. Make the decision, are you fully committed to actually becoming an entrepreneur? Are you willing to change your identity from, I want to start a business someday, to I'm an entrepreneur now and I'm going to start acting like it? Because you don't have to. Not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone's destined for success, to change the world, all that kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with just accepting your life as an employee. That's fine. Just be happy with it. But like, quit kidding yourself and saying like, I'm going to start a business someday when you've been saying that for years. Draw a line in the sand and make the decision like, no, I'm going all in on entrepreneurship, or I'm just not going to be an entrepreneur. Either way is fine, but like, quit dancing in the middle. Like, either go all in and be an entrepreneur, or just admit to yourself that it's not for you. And that's fine too. Make that choice. That's the important choice, because then everything will change for you once you make that decision. So what's your choice? What do you choose? Now, if you chose, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, then you probably know you need some help, right? So how we can help. My team and I have set aside some time over the next couple of days to speak with you. We'll get on the phone for about 45 minutes and work with you to get crystal clear on your goals, identify your biggest challenges, and give you direction on what your next step should be so you can finally have more freedom, fulfillment, income, and impact. Why are we doing this? Well, first, we need more entrepreneurs solving problems in this world. I don't know if you checked lately, but unfortunately, this world has a lot of problems. We need more heroes and heroines to step up and make a difference. You can be that hero. Even if you don't believe it, I believe in you. You can be the hero that solves problems and makes a lot of money in the process. What a great deal. And so if we can help you become that hero to solve important problems, that's something we can be proud of. But I also know that many of you are going to want to hire me and invest in me so I can help you achieve your entrepreneurial dreams faster. And that would be great. So who this is for, you're committed to your dream. You want to avoid making preventable mistakes. You're a decisive action taker who is coachable and follows directions. You realize time is your most valuable asset and you want results as quickly as possible. And you're committed to becoming an entrepreneur today. So if that's you, book a call, right? You can apply for a free strategy session with me and my team. You can click the sign up now button below or go to coachieve.co/tech. Basically fill out the brief survey so we can be prepared for the call, pick the best day and time, and get excited for the call, right? You're going to get a lot of value from it no matter what. So go to coachieve.co/tech right now. All right, I'm done. I think we covered a lot of information over the past hour or so. Hopefully you got a lot of value from it. You took some great notes. I've been doing these webinars for years and I could tell you all the business strategy stuff, but at the end of the day, if you're not really committed to being an entrepreneur, if you don't have the right mindset, if you're not thinking correctly, none of that stuff's going to matter. So I hope you found the mindset stuff valuable. I'd love to hear your feedback on if it was or not, because it's a little different than something I'm trying. But really, at the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing. Make the commitment. Like when you figure out your why, the how will follow. Like once you're committed to something, there's just something happens and then you figure out solutions. But you got to make the commitment first. And so hopefully you at least made that commitment to today. And if you'd like my help, go ahead, book a call, coachieve.co/tech. And I'd love to work with you soon. So thank you so much. Have an amazing day.